Extravagant Fragrances back here again with another response to one of the subscribers, and that is using coconut oil. They asked if they should use coconut oil or jojoba oil as a carrier oil. And my answer to that is more of my opinion. And the positives and the negatives of using coconut oil or jojoba oil as a carrier oil. There seems to be a movement among people that want to take a more natural route with perfume. And I have to be quite frank with you, that is a very difficult one, especially if you are, if you're that type of person that wants to know what is the newest, best thing out, right? To go 100% fully natural, it's extremely expensive, right? All you got to do is look at your artisans, right? That handcraft fragrances, and the amount of work that goes into handcrafting each ingredient. You know, a lot of them are handcrafting each ingredient. Some of them will use essential oils or other natural absolutes and stuff like that in some of their formulas. But often what you'll find is, you know, you'll find fragrances that are, you know, they could be a 3 ml bottle, for instance, for let's say a few $100s, right? Or a couple $100. And so it's very costly to go 100% natural and 100% pure. It's not a cheap endeavor or an inexpensive endeavor. Okay. Now there seems to be a trend, and it's been a trend for the past few years that I know of some fragrances that are free of phthalates, right? And what phthalates is basically, the downside to a phthalate is that it is an endocrine disruptor, right? Which means that, you know, it could disrupt your natural hormones and stuff like this, right? And so there are some fragrances that just can't be made without it, right? A lot of the times your thicker fragrances that have thickener in it. There's some fragrances that that I've ran across in the past that are have vanilla, or it's just a thicker fragrance, tend to have phthalates and are not phthalate free. There are some fragrances out there that are phthalate free, and so you do have that concern of a certain population of the perfume community who want 100% all natural ingredients, no phthalates in the perfumes, right? And so my message though is that if you're the type of person that's picky, you want the newest, latest, greatest thing, you're that type of customer that's like, or a perfume lover that's like, what do you got? What's new this month, right? And you always want to see a rotating door of new fragrances. That can be a very costly endeavor, because I know there are a lot of natural crafters out there, artisans, that they will handcraft each individual ingredient by hand, right? The old school way of making perfume. They will even make the carrier oil from scratch, usually consisting of an agarwood oil, an oud, or a sandalwood that isn't very strong, right? And that can be very expensive. And so my personal opinion on carrier oils, especially let's say like a coconut oil or a jojoba oil, is that yes, these are natural ingredients. I actually knew one guy, he used to use fractionated coconut oil as a carrier oil. And the only downside, in my opinion, is that these are vegetable-based oils, and which means they are natural, okay? But the downside, in my personal opinion, is that because they're vegetable-based, is that they would go rancid at some point, meaning they would spoil or they would go old. And some oils, when they go rancid, they tend to have a sour smell to it, right? And so that would be my only concern if you're using a carrier oil like coconut oil or a jojoba oil, is that it might cause the fragrance to change due to the natural oil going rancid. That would be my only concern. And so that's why I personally, and this is my personal opinion, I still believe that dipropylene glycol is one of the best carrier oils out there to use. For one, it doesn't go bad, okay? And I've never smelled a dipropylene glycol spoil or go bad or anything or go rancid. And another thing is it has absolutely no smell. And so this is one of the most widely used carrier oils for perfume making. It is skin safe. And so that's just my personal opinion. It's not like, it's more versatile, right? Because it's just such a neutral carrier oil in the sense that it's not like sandalwood, so it doesn't have a smell to it. It's obviously not oud, right? Unless that's your thing, unless you want a fragrance to smell like oud. But the reason why I'm a bigger fan of dipropylene glycol over all the other carrier oils is because it has an extremely long shelf life, okay? And it doesn't have a smell, and it can go with any project you're trying to do. So if you're a perfumist and you're trying to make a certain formula, you don't have to worry about a carrier oil, let's say like sandalwood. If you don't want sandalwood in your formula, you don't have to worry about, well, I got to use sandalwood because I got to make this formula. I need a natural carrier oil. And another reason, like I said, I personally wouldn't use coconut oil or jojoba oil is for the simple fact that it has its shelf life. Now, where I would use coconut oil or jojoba oil is if you're like doing it like small batching fragrances where you're gonna put your pure parfum, I'm talking straight oil, in the bottle and then add your carrier oil to it. And let's say it's a coconut oil or jojoba oil, and you know that that customer or even yourself is going to use that fragrance up. Let's say it's a 1/3 roll-on and you're going to go through it within a month. Then I can understand using a fractionated coconut oil or jojoba oil when you're making, let's say, fragrances that are made to order, right? They're made on the spot. You have a rotating amount of coconut oil and jojoba oil coming in stock, and you know you're going to be blasting them out. You're going to be moving them out fast enough where it's not going to sit on the shelf and go rancid. Then I can understand that. I can completely understand that. So that's my take on different carrier oils. So I hope this helps. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe, like this video. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments. I'm always looking for new ideas for content. And hopefully I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.